What's good, YouTube? Runick's YGO here. Happy to announce again we made it to Masters. For this season, we played two decks, so I will be showcasing and deck profiling and showing the replays for two decks. Main deck we are going to be showing is Runick White Forest. We did it again with Runick White Forest. We're just genuinely enjoying that deck. Other deck that we also did well with is Spright Runick. We also really did well with Spright Runick for going up to Diamond, from Diamond 3 to 2, but the rest was with White Forest Runick. I'll be splitting up this video into a lot of chapters. So the first chapter is going to be for White Forest, showing the deck profile and replays, and the second one, the Spright Runick deck profile and replays. And before we get into this, I already sort of tweaked the decks for the newest ban list that just dropped as I was making this recording. Nothing's changed in terms of ratios of the engines between the two. It's just hand traps that were messed around with, so that can always be changed based off your preference or budget. But let's get into this video. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you guys think. I always love constructive criticism to improve as a player. But this is the deck profile for White Forest Runick. So starting off with the two maxis. We played two because it's about to get semi-limited. So we're playing two maxis, and that's totally fine. It's a best of ones. We love maxi. We're playing one Stellar. A Stellar is really strong because, again, it is a strong extender. You typically don't want to use its normal summon, but obviously if it's in your opening hand and this is all you can do, you can definitely use its first effect. But the second effect is the strong one that you typically want to pitch with Hugin. We're playing 3 LZ. LZ's your starter or extender to go to Diabell, depending on your hand. But yeah, this is your starter that you want to see in your opening hand to go full combo. Playing 3 Ash Blossoms. Still a strong generic hand trap. It's strong. I wouldn't cut it. We're playing 3 Sylvie. This is your other starter. This is to search the woes. It's just strong at baiting too. Sometimes I have woes in my hand and you could just bait with this, and it's strong. 2 Rushias is what we're playing as well, and definitely stick to 2. 1 could be a little bit not good. There are some situations where you have this in your hand, and if you didn't have the second Rushia, you wouldn't have been able to go full combo in terms of the Visa's Amitara. 2 was pretty healthy. The 1 Fuvalos, I am just trying to substitute this for the third maxi because we don't really want to play Fuvalos because it's a lot better going second. We do rely on our normal summon, and having this in our hand going first is kind of a dead hand card other than pitching it with Hugin. So we're just playing that one to substitute Max C. 1 fusion substitute. Now this card does come in handy. We do need spell and trap fodder for the White Force engine, and summoning Hugin, this is free to pitch for cost, and you're always going to try to synchro summon. So we're trying to use its second effect, which states you can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 fusion monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck. Typically, we're going to recycle the Hugin. We want to recycle the Hugin because our extra deck is really tight. When it comes up, it definitely comes up. It is obviously situational because if you cannot synchro, then yes, it's not a very useful card. But again, with the ratios of how much engine we have in terms of the Runick cards being a Hugin, it's very likely you're going to send this to the grave. In addition to that, all the White Forest cards is going to be able to pitch it for cost as well. We're playing the 1 Runick Fountain. I'm hoping it someday will go to 2, but if not, you know, at least unlimit our Runick cards because consistency reasons. Called by the Grave, we play 2 as always. This is really strong against counter hand traps. Now, for the Runick cards, this is typically how you're always going to play the Runick cards, just because all the Runick cards are limited and semi-limited, so you're gonna have to only tweak the Droplet, Dispelling, and Smiting Storm. So you can play it as you want. I might just even take out Fuvulos to make the second Smiting Storm to increase consistency, but again, that's typically how you want to play these ratios of Runick. Now for the traps, we play 2 Evenlees. Evenlees, I love board breakers. It's probably my niche pocket pick. Evenly can be useless, obviously, on going first. However, you can always send it for cost with White Forest and or the Hugin. So it doesn't hurt to have it, because you do need spell and trap fodder. I love Evenly. You can always change it again to whatever you need. 2 Imperms, pretty strong hand trap. It was pretty healthy. It really helped me recycle, since this deck can easily recycle your spells and traps. 2 Woes. I feel 2 Woes is perfect. Some say 3. 1 is definitely way too little. Again, you can always bait your opponent when you already open it in your hand. Again, you do need spell and trap fodder, and because once it gets pitched, all White Forest cards, you can set it once it is sent to the graveyard by a monster effect. And the last and a pretty strong MVP, Reframing. The Omni Negate counter trap that can basically win you games just because of how much you could recycle this and just constantly have 1 Omni Negate on the field. It's a strong summon, and you typically are summoning it with Visas Amitara, and mind you, this is a tuner as well, level 8. You could synchro climb to level 10, and summoning it is very easy in this deck. You need 1 tuner and 1 light monster, and guess what? We do have tuners, 2 tuners, but since they're both light monsters as well, you can cheat and synchro summon into Visas Amitara to search the Reframing. So you're always almost gonna be summoning Reframing throughout this package of playing. That's why it's very valued, and I personally think it's a great addition to any White Forest deck. Now for the extra deck, we're playing 2 Hugins. I would love to play 3, but again, the extra deck is very tight. That's exactly why I'm trying to justify it with Fusion Substitute. Playing the 1 Gary. Now again, that's your lifeline to go into getting Fountain and or to Synchro 10 when you get one of the Synchro tuners out here. The 1 Formula Synchron, really strong. This is basically IP for synchros, and yeah, I really love Formula Synchron. It's very versatile. You can go through many synchros that is situational based off your matchup. The draw package synchros, the Tri-Edge and Coral Dragon, depending on the situation, you need a tuner and you could synchro 10 or Tri-Edge to draw 1 and also synchro 10. Playing the 1 Silvera, this is also a pretty strong part of your engine that you're trying to Book of Eclipse your opponent or change all face-up monsters to face down defense as they're trying to make a board and interrupt them. The 1 Rusilla is really good too. It's your searcher and your synchro climber to typically go into the boss monster of the deck, Diabell. Now Diabell, amazing card, great addition with the White Forest Runick, recycles spells and traps upon getting synchro summoned, and can interrupt your opponent and go to a Synchro 10 quite easily, or Book of Eclipse if you need to. The 1 Visas Amitara and our Synchro 10 boss monsters, Baron the Floor, Omni Negate, Qingying, which is your interruptions to non-target banish, and Chaos Angel, your protection and just your Synchro SP Little Knight. The 1 XYZ that we play is Typhon. Typhon is free. It is a strong anti-monster 3000 attack boss monster XYZ. It's just really strong. Where I had an occasion where someone was gonna Nibiru, and I knew they had Nibiru just because of the light interaction when your opponent goes. I summoned Typhon and they couldn't out me. So it was really useful, Typhon. I respect it. And lastly, 1 SP Little Knight. Very pretty generic. Everyone uses SP Little Knight. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the White Forest Runick. I want to show you it in action, how it got me to Masters. This is a Master tier level deck. I'm very proud of it. Now, if you disagree with anything in terms of hand traps, because again, I strongly believe the engine part of the deck, the White Forest and Runick are pretty strong. You can only really tweak, in my opinion, hand traps. So if you don't like Fuvalos, you can always change it, or you can don't like evenly change any of the hand traps to your own liking. It's very flexible with those flex spots. Let me know what you guys think of this deck. I'm truly proud of it. I'm very happy that I've got shoutouts with this deck. So thank you guys so much. Here are the replays. So the theme for this video is prioritizing engine. Typically in Runick Variants, you want to ask yourself, what's more important? Should Hugin get negated? Do you want Fountain? Or do you want the other engine to go full combo? Knowing which engine to get baited and have the other engine go full combo is dire to be able to go full combo, outplay your opponents, and just get Ws. So for our first duel, we're actually fighting Mikanko White Forest. So it's kind of a mirror match. It's a another variant of White Forest. And as we go first, we're really full combo, and we could stop Maxi, and we can stop any other hand traps. So this is a really, really good hand. Start off with playing Fountain, adding a Droplet, as we just want to use that to summon Hugin. They Maxi us. Now, between the two, this was a really good example of prioritizing which card to use. You could use Called By or Ash Blossom. And we use Ash Blossom here just in case they might have another hand trap. So we were able to Ash Blossom. Summoning Hugin. Draw 2. They Ash Blossom now. Then we Called By the Grave that. Now if we did the other way around, they would have stopped our draw. So pretty important sequential ways of using hand traps. So we get Woes here, and then we Synchro into Rusilla. Rusilla, send Fountain because we can get it back and continue using Runick cards. Set Woes, go into Diabell. Diabell gets us Fountain. Fountain plays. Special summon Rusia. Send back Rusilla. Go into Visas Amitara. Set 1. Get Hugin. Draw for 1. And we go into Chinging. Now the reason we go to Chinging here, we could have went for Baron just for the Omni Negate, but the thing is they have 3 cards left in their hand, and we have Tip, so we can search for anything to negate and interrupt and banish. So with this interruption, we have 1 Synchro 10, 1 Book of Eclipse, 1 non-target banishment, Runick cards to draw, and Reframing, which is the Omni Negate. So in total, that's 5 Omni Negates plus draw. Knowing it's their turn, they kaiju us, so no matter what we got, it would have been not good. So seeing that they normal summon a stellar, I wanted to get freezing curses for them. They play a card that I've never seen, that it's unaffected. So before they attach it to a stellar, we wanted to stop that. So we just automatically negated, and they just... So really good example to go first when you go first, how to go full combo with this deck. And one tip there is when you have runic cards that you could interrupt your opponent, sometimes it's safe to go into Qingying, or better to go into Qingying because you have an Omni Negate already. Now for the second duel, we are fighting Drytron. Drytron has been more and more popular nowadays because of their recent buffs, and going first here is a pretty good example of using Fusion Substitute and just going full combo still. So we go Runick first because we want to bait hand traps. Because we have Fusion Substitute, we want to pitch that because we prioritize getting Sylvie to go full combo White Forest more than getting Runick because we don't have any Runick cards anyways to draw. So hoping to get baited, we do not get baited. So we normal summon Sylvie, and then they actually do a really smart thing and negate us and destroy. So really good, and then Eva's effect, they get their starter looking really bad right now. I thought this was gonna be over, so this is a really good situational game. They normal summon. I max C here, and they just go to battle phase to stop their play. Set 1, and we continue. So I try to draw because we don't want Sylvie to get banished or interrupted here. So we try to draw 2. They Ash Blossom. Really good bait here. Because we prioritize trying to get woes and go full combo here. We send Fountain because it's already been used in hopes that we can possibly get it back. So we go here, set woes, go into Diabell, get Fountain back. But then we finally use Fusion Substitute. It's important here because, again, I was trying to get it in the graveyard, but because they attacked into it, it was a problem for me to get Hugin in the graveyard by synchro summoning. So I'm hoping we draw a Runick card here while trying to go into Visas Avatara. We do not. So here in this example, we have 1 Synchro 10, 1 Book of Eclipse, and 1 Reframing. I reframing that to destroy it in hopes they can extend. They try, so I just send that or Fountain to go into, I believe, Chaos Angel to banish Herald so they can't synchro or extra deck play. While doing White Forest things, it's important to try to use it on your opponent's turn to get LZ back to your hand. Normal summon, we go into Baron here, trying to chip away their opponent. We send woes, they Ash Blossom us, negating our extension, but we called by the grave that. So we are slowly controlling the game again. set woes. Special summon Rika. That's why Rika is pretty important here. We try to synchro climb. Get a second woes by drawing it. And then we go into Chingying here. And then since we didn't use any Runick cards, we can just swing for game. So this is a very situational game, but it is important as the theme of this video. Know which cards or engine to prioritize first. Again, typically sometimes you want, in this case, Hugin to get baited, and then a White Forest go full combo. Now this is my promo game, and we win the coin flip going first. Yeah, we are fighting Tier. Going first, we try to bait by using Hugin, and unfortunately we get max seed here because we have another max seed. Actually, we don't. My mistake. So, we are trying to be very conservative here, and I thought we were gonna lose this because I just felt like they were gonna get a lot of advantage. I try to max C here just because I need this to go through. Drawing, I'm hoping to get some hand traps or anything to stop them. We're just hoping not to get OTK'd here. We go into cross sheep. And they quit. I'm not too sure why. Maybe they bricked, but I was really happy to get the Masters just because this game didn't give me stress. So for our going second game, we are playing against Branded here, and I just shotgun Maxi here. I don't think this was a smart play. It's debatable how to use Maxi. Sometimes you want to wait for them until they special summon, and then you get a guaranteed draw. But I believe they respected the Maxi so much that they end up being very conservative, setting this and passing. So I know they have an imperm here. And their goal, from my experience, playing against them, they want to try to summon this on my turn, the fusion summon to pop off. Knowing this, when we draw, I have imperm in my hand. So I wanted to just play Fountain here. Granted, I should have imperm first, but I was kind of worried that I wouldn't have enough cards to send to the graveyard for spell and trap cost for the White Forest engine. So we do a little bit more unconventional way and a really good snipe. We get Branded Fusion Banish, so that's their only copy. So we destroy that, draw 2, and this is choke point where I knew I could still stop them from fusion summoning. So we LZ to send Fountain. I have no cards in my hand now. Therefore, I can chain and negate Quem. At this point, it should be over. Because they don't have a hand, they don't have a board. And we actually go kind of aggressive. We're gonna normal summon a Stellar to send the other Imperm because it's kind of an offline card and go full combo. So that was a really good play of just knowing how to play against Branded after they respect the Maxi. This duel, we're fighting tier limits, and they get to go first. I just Maxi here. I don't know if that was a smart play because I was told to Maxi Reinhardt whenever you see it, but they end up setting 2 and setting 3 pass. So I thought this was a full, you know, easy game. And then they tried to send cards to the graveyard. So once I saw that, I already knew for sure it is tier limit. They get a really good mill. So as they mill and I'm trying to get Fountain, they summon Lubellion. So it's like a tier limit Lubellion, or sorry, tier limit branded. So in this game, we're trying to draw before we use LZ because we could just send Fountain. So we destroyed tier limit Scream. And unfortunately, they get to use its effect in the graveyard, but we get to draw 3 here. So I wasn't too worried. Send Fountain. Get Sylvie. Normal Sylvie. And they quit. I think their board was gonna get or I would control the game too much for them to quit. So we are going second here, and we have evenly in our hand, so I was kind of really happy to see that. And we're fighting Dragon Links here. I missed a few special summons because I didn't know when they would summon, so I missed 2 opportunities. Once they for sure summoned, which I saw Magnamut, that's when I maxed here. So letting them pop off and do their thing, they actually do the Maxi challenge here. And I drew just so much card advantage here that they probably should have not extended so much, but I understand the predicament they were in. So we just wanted to try to pop Little Knight here because they would end up trying to get rid of their Chaos Angel. But mind you, Chaos Angel, if you didn't know, will lose their effect when it leaves the field because of Little Knight. So knowing this, I wanted to try to bait them. So it was totally fine for them to do that. Again, it's debatable what I could have done right, and because they only had 1 card left and Evenly is offline now, I just go Evenly or Runick Fountain here, pop 4, and their cards didn't go online, so I knew they didn't have any more hand traps, I believe. And we just go full combo here. Oh, my mistake. They did have something, but we are still going to draw 3 and Synchro Climb into Diabell. Grab Fountain back. And with all these draws, we could have really played differently, but we end up still on a full combo board with a Runick Fountain to still be able to be played. And with this, you know, with all the Runick cards in my hand, I knew I could use Ching-Ying instead of Baron here. And draw 2. So for this, we have 1 Synchro 10, 1 Book of Eclipse, 1 Imperm or Monster Negate, Called by the Grave, Reframing Omni Negate, Non-Target Banishment, Tip, Ash Blossom, and Maxi. That's 9 interruptions on their turn. So I saw them have Ravine, so I thought, why don't we try to get Destruction? And at the same time, I'm trying to pop their field. So we Imperm Little Knight, grab Destruction, effective Chinging, chain to pop, and then we get to draw 3. I send Fountain because we already used its effect. Gets Formula Synchron, and then we just maxi here because they're gonna special summon. So I Synchro Summon into Chaos Angel myself. Banish Rocket Tracer. Ash Blossom Rocket Tracer. And win the chain here. And they scoop. Yeah, they shouldn't have played the Maxi challenge there because I don't know if they could have went on a full N board with Bora load or something, but yeah, we just drew too many cards there. So we are fighting Tenpai here, and they let us go first. So we just normal summon. We normal summon Sylvie here because we have woes already, so we're hoping to get interrupted here. And we do get interrupted because we don't want Hugin to get interrupted. It was basically a bait, so that worked out well. We summon Hugin here, and we pitch Fusion Substitute here. Really good card, because when we Synchro Summon, we go into Rusilla. Rusilla send Woes, set Woes, use Fusion Substitute, hoping we get a Runick card, and we do, but unfortunately we used this Runick card already. Send evenly because we already use evenly. And at this point, when they Perulia us, or Molcharmies us, we just have to still go for it, because I'm just assuming it's Tenpai just because of letting us go first. We lose the coin flip there, and they let us go first. And we go into our normal plays. And for this, after drawing 2, I knew I wanted to go into Qingying because of Slumber. A tip for this duel, or in White Forest Runick, you should only go Qingying if you have Runick cards online to banish, of course, because it's strong. Sometimes, you know, they could play through Omni Negate. So, and we already have 1. So with this, we have 1 Omni Negate, 1 Synchro 10, 1 non-target banishment, 1 Book of Eclipse, Hand Trap, and 2 Runick cards. So that's 7 interruptions. They play Harpy's Feather Duster, so I said to myself, you know what? We gotta save our back row. And so I wanted to save Reframing for last resort. So we banish the Sarcophagus, and I believe, yeah, it's for Blaster to get a to get Genroku. Genroku summons, I maxi. They normal summon, I Freezing Curse Hydra so they don't get the field spell or spell card they need. Then I non-target banish and chain to draw 2 to get Genroku so they can't Synchro Summon. They had Chandra, which I was hoping to ban Chandra, but at this point, because they're trying to use Chandra's effect, I send Fountain, because I valued the Book of Eclipse and Reframing too much, to get Formula Synchron. We just Synchro into Chaos Angel and they quit. Really good strategy to go into Qingying there, just to stop them from extending. Now, for Spright Runick, I still personally think it's one of, if not the best Runick variant right now. It's so inherently strong. One card combos, gets baited by hand traps easily, and still can go full combo real easily. I just think it's currently really strong, and it got buffs by Mulcharmies. So, just explaining the deck now, hand traps are always going to be debatable by the person. I personally think the engine is, in terms of ratios, are perfect. And with hand traps, you could play it as you please with how the format's going. At the time of this recording, Max C is currently semi-limited now, going to February 2025, or at the start of February 6, 2025, Maxi will be semi-limited. So again, play the hand traps as you please in the ratios that you like, but the way Spright Runick is played is typically, it should be like this. So we're running 2 Maxis, 1 Crystal Rose. Crystal Rose is a strong package in this deck because you're always, 7 times out of 10 summoning Hugin and then trying to get Fountain. And Crystal Rose, when you link fodder Hugin or XYZ fodder, you can easily get it back with Crystal Rose because of its graveyard effect. You're typically running a package with Spright Sprint and Crystal Rose to make extend into Gigantic. So yes, you can easily do it with Hugin and any level 2 or even your hand traps to normal summon them, because sometimes you could brick and just draw too many hand traps. And as long as you just have 1 copy of a Runick card or a Hugin, you can just play that, normal summon any of your hand traps, and just link into Sprint. Sprint, its effect when it's link summon is send one level 2 monster from the deck to the graveyard, sending Crystal Rose, and then banishing the fusion monster from the graveyard, special summon this, and then you can go into Gigantic Spright with Crystal Rose and the link to Sprint. We played the 1 Hyperia with the 1 Cap Shell. This is your draw engine. You typically want to summon this with Gigantic Spright to search when you're full combo. We're playing 2 blues, 2 jets, 1 red, 1 carrot. That's pretty standard just because they're semi-limited, the cards. 3 Ash Blossoms, 1 Ghost Spell. Ghost Spell can come in handy sometimes. You could either just normal summon it if it doesn't work out, and you can still link away. But it can come up with Tenpai. It's a really strong card. We're playing 2 Fuvalos. Again, it's just a good ratio. I don't have a 3rd copy as well, but 2 seems to be pretty good because the way I look at Mulcharmies is it's not Maxi version 2. It's a little bit more limited in terms of how it's drawn, and you have to control no cards. So it's way better going 2nd, but going 1st, since we don't have a normal summon in this deck, you can just normal summon Fuvalos and you can link it away and go full combo still. Playing the 1 Fountain, 2 Call by the Graves. I'm playing Cross Out because of the number of hand traps we're playing. We could easily cross out something. And as always, the Runick cards are very standard due to the limited and semi-limited cards that they have. The only cards that is you can mess around with is Smiting Storm, Droplet, and Dispelling, having a combination of 1, 2, or 3 depending on how much consistency you want in the Runick cards. Then 3 Spright Starters and 1 Spright Smasher. I think this is just a perfect combo. Some people might want to play Starter to 2 That's totally up to them. I still like 3 because I want the consistency to go full combo. For the extra deck, we're playing 2 Hugin, 1 Gary, and 1 Sleipnir. I may take out the 1 Sleipnir to make it 3 copies of Hugin because Hugin's way more valuable. But Sleipnir can come up, so depending on the situation, it could come up. 2 Gigantic Spright, 1 Typhon. Typhon is still a really good anti-3000 boss monster floodgate, so yeah, it's good. The 1 IP Masquerena. We're playing 2 Elves, 1 Sprint, 2 Little Knights. You need to play this deck. Going to Little Knight a lot for the banishment, and just because you can recycle Masquerena a lot with the Elf, it really comes in handy. 1 Promethean Princess, and our quote-unquote boss monster is Underworld Goddess. Very easy to go into with this deck and interrupt your opponent, so it's a strong kaiju as well. I hope you like the Spright Runick deck. Again, you could always mess around with the hand traps, but the Runick engine and the Spright engine is pretty already set in stone, the end-all be-all type of play, just because of how much limited and semi-limited cards that are on the list. Let's get on to replays. I hope you enjoy. So for the replays going first, we are fighting Spyral Snake Eyes, and this is a very situational game. Our hand honestly is really bad, because if they negate anything with the Runick engine, we just have to pass. So this is way too many hand traps, but look, we still go full combo. Why? Because we go first, Fuvalos is a dead card. This is a great example to show why you play the Spright Sprint combo, because you can have dead hands like this and I wouldn't be able to go full combo. But showing it off, we go tip, praying it doesn't get negated, and it's successful. We play tip, we play slumber, we summon Hugin. Now, you may ask yourself, we could just go max C normal summon and go into Gigantic Spright full combo there. But the thing is, I value max C in my own turn as well, so I don't want to do that. And plus, this is a dead card. So, we draw 2, hoping we get a Spright card. We do not. We get an even worse hand. So, really bad draws, but we normal summon Fuvalos, go into Spright Sprint, combo, send Crystal Rose. Crystal Rose banishes Hugin, special summon Crystal Rose, and go finally into Gigantic Spright. We get blue, blue gets Jet, Jet gets a starter, synchro into Elf, Elf gets us Crystal Rose, goes into IP, and then we get red here because we have 2 Ash Blossoms, 1 Maxi. We're hoping to not get negated here, and 1 Dispelling. So our interruptions here is IP into Little Knight, 1 Monster Negate, 2 hand traps, and rip a card from their hand plus draw. That's 5 interruptions with them having 6 cards in their hand. They draw a card or add a card to their hand, so we get to rip a card. Now they have 5 cards left in their hand. We draw, and a pretty good flashing fire. They try to special summon, so we max C here. And they quit. I think either they had a dead hand or they knew they would have to play through a lot of interruptions. So this duel, we went first, won the coin flip. Actually, my mistake. Yeah. And they Puvulas us, so we have to call by the grave that. At the same time, I said to myself, let's just go and get Fountain. So we play Fountain, play Droplet, hoping to draw. 2, hoping to get a... We end up not getting any Spright cards here. So we have Cap Shells. And for this example again, if we go into Gigantic Spright, we wouldn't be able to draw here. So instead, we go into Sprint. We do the Sprint combo again with the Crystal Rose because we value drawing. Unfortunately, this is a failed attempt, and the Runick engine saves us. Due to the Veiler here, that stopped our plays. And no matter if we went Gigantic Spright, it would have stopped our plays here. So we have to ultimately pass. But we did draw one, and we do have a lot of Runick cards here. They normal summon Fadra, attack, and they set. So I destroy one, and they end up quitting. Probably knowing that I was gonna draw, and I'm assuming they either had a dead hand. So for this duel, we go first, and we're playing a pure Sky Striker deck. Our hand is alright here. You know, drawing 2 tips is not ideal, but it's good to see. So we normal summon Carrot here. We could have honestly kept our normal summon, but we had full combo here. So we get blue Jet gets us Smashers because we already used Starter. We Synchro. We're on our 4th summon. So Gigantic Spright. I get us Hyperia. Hyperia gives us a draw. Synchro into Elf. Elf gets us Jet. And we just Synchro into Masquerena. And we end here. So for this, we have 1 IP, 1 Carrot once we get it from the graveyard, 1 non-target banishment, and tip, plus 1 hand trap. That's 5 interruptions here. With 6 cards in their hand, they tried to call by the grave. So I chain to get Elf, and then they tried to use Sky Striker Mobilize. So I get Flashing Fire out, and I try to just destroy so they can't get any cards. Or, sorry, use its effect to either Link Summon or use its effect. And we, mind you, we have 2 Rays already banished. So it's looking pretty good for us. And we draw pretty good hand too. So now we have Max C. They tried to draw 2 with Talents. I Ash Blossom that. They use Engage. I tried to negate, and they used Widow Anchor. And with Widow Anchor, they had targeted my Carrot to try to negate its effect, so I had to Little Knight here. We end up Little Knighting to miss target, negating that, and then banishing Mobilize. They still end up getting Ray here, and they're going to be under Max C soon, so I negate that, and I also chain Max C, knowing that they're going to Synchro Summon still. They go into Ace. I Spright Smashers here. They still get Ray in the field. They attack. Then they summon. And then they end phase. So we have Called by the Grave already. And they already have 2 Rays in the graveyard. So feels good. We just destroy that. They tried to use the effect. We Called by the Grave. Now they have no Rays online. Summon Dugan. At this point, we're really controlling the game. They only have 1 card left. Draw 3. special summon, go into Gigantic Spright. Spright gets us Blue. Blue gets us Jet. Jet gets us our last copy of Starter, I believe. Go into Elf. Elf gets us Carrot, because they're gonna probably either have a spell or a trap. And at this point, they try to draw. I Ash Blossom them. So 1 card left in their hand. They quit. Really strong control game right there. So for our last game going first, we're playing against Rika. 60 card deck Rika. And our hand is a full combo. Looks good. Wish we had a Runick card, but starting this game off, main phase 1, normal summon Jet. Special summon Spright, or use Spright starters to get Blue. Blue gets us Red. Red, special summon, we go into Gigantic Spright. Attach 1, hoping to get a Runick card with Hyperia's draw. Unfortunately, it was another Spright starter. We go into Elf. Elf gets us Blue. We go into IP Masquerena, and we set 2. So for this duel, the number of interruptions we have is IP into Little Knight, Call by the Grave, or sorry, 2 hand traps. Sorry, my mistake. 4 hand traps. Spright starter, so that's gonna go into Carrot, and then we're gonna have Red as well. So that's 6 negates, or sorry, 6 interruptions. So they summon Rika. I try to get Red to have a spell and trap negate with the chaining with starter and just chain linking, or with Max C, getting him under Max C. We now have a spell and trap negate. I IP into Little Knight, trying to interrupt them, banishing that. I tried to still interrupt them with using Call by the Grave and just drawing. I didn't honestly realize how far they can go. We used all our interruptions now, and we look kind of dead on the water, but while they're on Max C, I'm hoping to get them stop their plays, but they absolutely go crazy with 1-card combos. They unfortunately summon another Dryas and continue their plays. Does not look good. I don't know how much Rika works, but all I knew is that they took the Maxi challenge, and we have 20 cards left in our deck. So having them just fast forward to their plays, it's looking not good. The number of times they're reusing Lone Fire Blossom like that was crazy. We now have 14 cards left in our hand. Sorry, deck. So they're still comboing, and I thought, wow, this is the first time I'm gonna get decked out. I've never been decked out in my life. At least through Maxi, I've never been decked out. 9 cards left in my deck. 7 now. 6. 5. 4. And we get close to the choke point that they had. I negated that to stop them from continuing. And at that point, they end phase. 37 cards left, and 2 cards. I have my whole deck in my hand. They quit. Pretty fun. So we are fighting Gimmick Puppets here, and I thought we were fighting Tenpai because they chose to go second, winning the coin flip. So this hand, it's not that ideal, but we could go full combo here. So we go into Hugin. We pitch the other Smiting Storm because we already used 2 copies. We wouldn't be able to use it to get Fountain. Special summon red. Thankfully, I believe we don't get countered or interrupted here, so Gigantic gets blue, blue gets Jet, Jet gets Starter, go into Elf, summon blue back, get Carrot here, and then we go into IP and we end here. So our hand here, we have, in terms of interruptions, IP going into Little Knight, 1 spell or trap negate, 1 monster negate depending if you get red with Elf, and 2 hand traps. That's 5 interruptions in total. As they play Condolence Puppet, I'm not too familiar with how Gimmick Puppet works, but they end up really breaking our board with Droplet. I just don't want them to send anything to the grave, but they end up doing it anyways. So sending those cards, they negate everything on our field, and I'm in emergency mode. I max C here, trying to get back red, but there's nothing we could do at this point. I thought I was gonna get OTK'd, but they end up quitting. I wasn't too sure why, but we just take those W's. I ended up getting promoed here, so genuinely love Spright Runick got me up to Diamond 2. I was stuck in Diamond for quite some time. So that was my journey for season 37, getting from... You guys are amazing. I hope you guys learned something. If there's something you want me to try, I'll try it on stream. Just want to keep making this deck better. Runick White Forest has been nothing but phenomenal. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, guys.